If you are wondering what the heck is going on with my library, stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Cameron again, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about books, movies, writing, and all things spooky. I've got a little bit of an informal video for you today. This week I have been in the process of reorganizing my library. I've been going through my books and I have found so many that I just don't really want anymore. I think we all do that at some point. So I have about 200 that I have pulled that I just not really interested in reading anymore. Books that I bought originally and wanted to read, but you know, your tastes change, and I'm just not interested in these. And I know that there are other people who will be. There's all kinds of books here. You're going to see some YA, some old children's books, new children's books. You're going to see a lot of James Patterson. I even have some old magazines, some Harry Potter related books, some Sarah J. Maas if you're interested in that. But anyway, I filmed a video like this recently, a couple months ago, and it was an unhaul. Pulled off about 100 books that I didn't want anymore. And I showed them in a video, books I was just getting rid of, and I decided why not sell them to you guys, because I was trying to make money for a MacBook Pro, which I do have. Hold on one second, I'm gonna go get it. Oh, here it is. This is my MacBook Pro. I love it, it's beautiful. This is the reason why I've been getting videos up more frequently. I've been doing about one video every week, which is more than I've ever done in the 7 years that I've had this channel. Speaking of, it's my 7-year anniversary on this channel. I just realized, I think yesterday was my 7-year anniversary, so yay! But yeah, this is my MacBook Pro, so it was because of you guys that I had an easier time buying this expensive laptop. So I thought, since I'm pulling off all of these books again, why not try it out one more time, because it worked so well the first time. So if you guys want to buy these books from me, definitely let me know in the comments. It is going to have to be US only. It just costs way too much to send books out to other countries. Most of these books are really cheap, you know, just a few dollars, and I don't want to send you a couple of $2 books and then you end up having to pay, you know, $30, $40 in shipping. That just seems weird to me. Other than that, the rules are going to be the exact same as last time. I'm going to list all of the books and the prices down below in the graveyard. If you see any books in this video that you like and you want to buy from me, definitely post a comment down below claiming the books that you want. After you have done that, please send an email to bookmovieguy@gmail.com, just listing again all of the books that you want, as well as giving me your full name and your mailing address. Once you've done that, I will send you an invoice via PayPal, and I ask that you please pay within the first 3 days. If you don't, then I'm going to cancel the invoice and remove your comment from this video, so that way somebody else will have a chance to buy those books. In terms of shipping and handling, it's going to be just a flat $5 shipping fee. Unless you spend $35 or more, then it's free shipping. I think that does it. Most of these books are going to be pretty cheap. Half of these are going to be $5 and under. I'd say 85% are $10 and under, and then I have some that are like 15, 20, 25, and then I have a couple that are really, really rare and they're going to be a little more expensive. I'm just putting those in here to see if any of you want them. If you don't, I'm just going to list them on eBay, so it's no biggie. I don't really expect those books to sell because they're pretty expensive, but the majority of these books are super cheap. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get into the $1 books first. The first one is called The Ghost Grave. Obviously, it's a ghost story. Weasel by Cynthia DeFelice. Jade Green, A Ghost Story. Ghosts I Have Been by Richard Peck. This really old copy of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. This is called Lassie, The Mystery of Bristlecone Pine. I had this old Disney Collectibles book. It's pretty old. I know that there are a lot of Disney junkies out there, so if you're a Disney lover and you want this, $1. This is a Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers film book about all the different creatures from the movie. Got a couple of Scooby-Doo comics. All of these are $1. There's a Spider-Man one. The Mighty Thor. There are a couple of X Factor books, $1 each. The Avengers, Iron Man, X-Men, which has a trading card inside. Here's another X-Men. This one here. Alright, so now I'm going to get into the $2 books. Here I have a Christmas book. It's called The Christmas Train. Killer View by Ridley Pearson. Asunder by Jody Meadows. This is an ex-library copy, but the book is in beautiful condition. It's like it was never checked out. And these covers come off really easy, as well as the stickers. The stickers are all on the plastic, so they're not on the dust jacket. Still, even though it's in great shape and it's a first edition, I'm only selling it for $2. This is a magazine called Rosebud. It's a literary magazine. And I've read this a couple of times, and it's got some great stories in it. But since I've already read it a few times, I don't think I'm going to be reading it again. So if anybody wants it, it's $2. There's another Disney book. This is called Walt Disney Mickey Meets the Giant. It's volume 1 in the Fun to Read library. More $2 books. I have Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Wizard's Wacky Puzzles. This one is the 7 Voyages of Sinbad. These are all pretty old. Emil and the Detectives. The Man in the Long Black Cape. Here I have a few R.L. Stine books. This one is called Ghosts of Fear Street. It's book 1 in the series. It's called Hide and Shriek. It's called Nightmare Hour by R.L. Stine, one of my favorites. It's got some awesome stories inside, some really cool, spooky illustrations scattered throughout. I have a hardcover of this now, so I don't need the paperback. So there's that for $2. Shivers, Terror on Troll Mountain. Another kind of Goosebumps ripoff is called Fright Time, which has an actual, like, legit terrifying cover on it. Here are a couple of Bruce Coville books. This is called The Skull of Truth. This one was called Book of Spine Tinglers. Here is Killing Mr. Griffin by Lois Duncan, one of my favorite books of all time. I have a duplicate copy of this, so I don't need it. But if anybody wants it, I recommend it. Here is The Spanish Cave, which has a really cool cover. I have a stack of Peanuts books. This one is called We Love You, Snoopy. You're Not For Real, Snoopy. They're Playing Your Song, Charlie Brown. It's a Mystery Charlie Brown. And Peanuts Secret Word Find Puzzles. And the last $2 book is The House on Willow Street, which I think is a novelization of the TV movie from back in the 70s. Alright, and I have a big stack of $3 books. These are a couple of little golden books. This one is called The Country Mouse and the City Mouse, and this one is called Little Raccoon's Nighttime Adventure. I have a couple of Harry Potter coloring books. This one is actually a watercolor one. The paint has been taken out, and it's mostly unpainted. There's one there that's been partially painted, but the rest is, yeah, completely empty. Here's another one for the Chamber of Secrets. I think, yeah, there's one that's been colored, but I don't think anything else in this book has been colored. It's all blank. There's some posters inside as well. This is a beautiful book. It is called My Hollywood by Mona Simpson. I've had this for a few years and I've just never read it, so I decided I'll probably just send it on to somebody else. It's a beautiful book though. I like the deckled edges on it. This is also a first edition. I believe almost all of the books I'm going to show you in this are all first editions. This one is called The Terror of Living by Urban White. It's a thriller. As a quote by Stephen King on the cover, he says, "It is a hell of a good novel, relentlessly paced and beautifully narrated. There's just no let up." So if you're interested, there you go. Here I have 3 J.D. Robb crime novels. This one is called Divided in Death, Strangers in Death, and Concealed in Death, which are all first editions. This is Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. It's a faux leather-bound book. This is a middle grade adventure book. This is called The Explorer by Catherine Rundle. This is The Lost Forest, Mez's Magic by Elliot Schaefer. This one is called Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. Here I have books 1 and 4, I believe, in the Lightning Catcher series. There's book 1, and this is book 4, I think. But it's like a dragon series. Rhett Butler's People, which is an authorized sequel to Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Here I have one of the books in the Bones series. This one is called 206 Bones. This is called The Dark Unwinding by Sharon Cameron. It's a steampunk YA novel. And then here I have a couple of trade comic book paperbacks. This is called Wolverine, The End, which basically, I guess, tells about his death. And then this is called Marvel Legacy, the 1960s through the 1990s handbook. So that ends the stack of $3 books. So now I'm going to go onto the books that are $4 a piece. This is a leisure horror paperback. It is called Mr. Hands by Gary A. Braunbeck. I have another copy of this, so I don't need this one anymore. It's in really good shape though. So $4. Strange but True Baseball Stories. This one is from 1966. Origin by Jessica Oury. This is a first edition hardcover, brand new, never been read. Here I have a bunch of books in the 39 Clues series. These are all first editions, never been read, brand new. They all have the cards still intact. So these are all going to be $4 a piece. Here I have the first one, which is called Maze of Bones by Rick Riordan. This one is book number 2. It's called One False Note. Book number 7, The Viper's Nest. The 10th book, which is called Into the Gauntlet by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This is from the 39 Clues spin-off series. This one is book 1 of that series. It's called The Medusa Plot. And this is book number 4 in the Infinity Ring series, which is very similar to the 39 Clues. Again, cards are intact, brand new, never been read. Continuing on with the $4 books, I have Gods and Monsters by Michelle Paver. It's a Greek mythology, Percy Jackson style book. The Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare. This one is Confessions of a Murder Suspect by James Patterson. Seeker. This is by Arwen Ellis Dayton. I think I pronounced that right. It's a young adult high fantasy novel. Here I have a couple of the Bourne books. This one is called The Bourne Dominion and The Bourne Deception. So those were all of the $4 books. Now I'm going into the $5 books. Again, all the prices are going to be listed down below in the graveyard. So if you're confused about the pricing, just look down below. I'm going to have a detailed list. I have Garfield's Tales of Mystery. This is a pretty rare one, as well as Garfield Goes Underground. Again, these are all $5. The Moon Opera, which I had to read for school. If you need to read it for school, there you go. It's a beautiful hardcover. This is a new book that just came out recently. It is called The Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope. I have a few John Grisham first edition hardcovers. This one is called The Client. It's in very good shape. The Chamber and The Brethren. Here I have a few horror paperbacks, some point horror, YA horror. Here I have Halloween Night 2 by R.L. Stine. First edition. It's in really nice shape. I just have a duplicate of this, so I don't need it. Here is The Nightmare Club #1. These books are so rare. This one is in pretty nice shape. It's got some stains on the pages, but that's really about all. And this one is book number 3 in the Nightmare Club series. It's called Warlock Games. And this one is The Survivor by James Herbert. Very nice condition. And these actually aren't books, they're DVDs. So I have Charmed Season 2, 3, and 4. I just don't need these anymore. But if you are a Charmed fan like me, they're $5 a piece, which I think I spent $30 each on these when they first came out, which is crazy. Okay, so that wraps up all of the $5 books. Now I'm going into the $6 books. This is called Rook by Sharon Cameron. Brand new, never been read. I don't think this is actually a first edition. This is a second printing. But still, beautiful book. Here I have a first edition of Loki's Wolves, which is the first book in the Blackwell Pages series by K.L. Armstrong and M.A. Marr. Here I have a first edition of Star-Crossed by Josephine Angelini. This is Giver to the Earth by Mindy McGinnis. This is brand new, just came out recently. I just decided I don't need it. And then this is book 5 of the Demon Cycle. It is called The Core. It's by Peter V. Brett. This is the most recent book that came out. It's got a cool cover there with the demon underneath the dust jacket. Okay, and that wraps up all of the $6 books, and now I'm going into the $8 books. Starting off, I have Fear Street Sagas by R.L. Stine. This is book number 14 in that series. It's called One Last Kiss. This is a very, very rare Fear Street book. In brand new condition, this goes on Amazon for upwards of $300, which is absolutely crazy. I have a duplicate. I don't need this copy. This one is actually in pretty nice shape. It used to be a library book, but obviously it was not checked out very often. It's very nice. It's completely intact. There's nothing wrong with it. It just has a couple of stickers on it, which can probably come off. I just haven't tried to take them off. $8. I'm not going to sell this for a bunch of money like it is on Amazon. So if you have been looking for this book and you want to read it, here's your chance. This is called A Life in Baseball by Joe Morgan. I'm not a baseball fan. I'm not a sports fan in general. So if you're into baseball, there you go, $8. Here is a beautiful first edition copy of Beautiful Darkness by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. Here is Black Widow Forever Red by Margaret Stoll. Here is Nightshade by Andrea Kramer. This has the original cover. It's a first edition. This one has become pretty rare, but I'm only selling it for $8. Warcross by Marie Lu. I'm just not really interested in Marie Lu's books anymore. So there's that one. Here I have 3 books in the Wicked Lovely series. This is the very first book. It's by Marissa Marr, first edition. These have become pretty hard to find, especially the first book. But I'm only selling it for $8. And then I have Radiant Shadows and Darkest Mercy. Next is a first edition hardcover of Sum of All Fears by Tom Clancy. It's a big, chunky book. Here's a popular book that I decided I'm just not interested in reading anymore. It's called Truth Witch. It's the first book in the Witchlands series by Susan Dennard. Okay, this isn't the end of the $8 books. The rest of these are all $8 as well. I have 2 stacks of James Patterson books. These are all first edition hardcovers. They're all in almost brand new condition. I've been collecting his books little bits at a time when I can find them, and I just decided I don't think I'm going to be reading his books. I read Beach Road, and it was just eh. And I'm sure he has a lot of other good books, and I know there are a lot of people who love his books, but I just don't think I'm ever going to get to them. So there's no point of me hoarding these. This one is called Mistress, Honeymoon, The Jester. This actually still has the little promotional slip still intact, so it makes it a little more collectible, I guess. Sale, Judge and Jury, Lifeguard, The Beach House, The Lake House, Beach Road. Getting into my Alex Cross books, I have Kiss the Girls, Pop Goes the Weasel, Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue, Four Blind Mice, London Bridges, Cross, Double Cross, and I have a stack of the women's murder mystery books. So here's the very first book. It's called First to Die, Second to Die, Third Degree, 4th of July, The Fifth Horseman, and The Eighth Confession. So those are all of the James Patterson books, all $8. That wraps up all of the $8 books. Now I'm going to go into the $10 books. Alright, so starting off the $10 books, this one is really weird. It's kind of interesting. This is called Movie Star Cards. And this is a book from, I believe, the 90s? I think this was made in the 90s. And it basically just goes through a bunch of movie star actors, and it gives a picture and then tells about who they are in the back, gives some facts. And it goes all the way from the 90s to the 20s. I've never seen this anywhere before. I don't know how much it's worth. At this point, I really don't care. So I'm putting $10 on it because it's old and I don't know. Someone might be interested in this. Here is Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. Bought this when it came out last year. I read the Divergent series and it's not really my thing. But I still wanted to try this out and I decided that I'm not interested. There's too many other things I want to read. But I know that there are other people who might want to read this. Again, it's brand new. I bought this the day it came out. It's perfect condition. If you want to read it, here's a first edition for you. I believe this is in its 5th or 6th printing now. So it's going to be a little hard to get a first edition copy. But here you go. This is your chance. Here are first edition copies of An Ember in the Ashes and its sequel, A Torch Against the Night by Sabah Tahir. Since these books are so popular, it's really hard to get first editions of them now. So $10 a piece, which is less than I paid for them. Should probably list these on eBay for more, but I don't really care. Here is Pandemia, a novel of the bird flu and the end of the world by Jonathan Rand and Christopher Knight. This is a signed copy right here. Here I have October Dreams, which is a huge anthology of Halloween-themed stories. It's a great book. I have read through this so many different times. It's really cool just to pick random stories and read them. They're very, very short. It's basically the definitive book of Halloween short stories. If you're a Halloween fan and you like horror, this is for you. I have a nice limited edition hardcover now, and I don't need a paperback anymore. But even still, this book is out of print. Even the paperback is really hard to find, and it goes for quite a bit online. It's like $20 for a paperback. I'm selling this for only $10. So if you're interested, there you go. It's in great shape. Here are all 3 books in the Across the Universe trilogy by Beth Revis. It's a young adult sci-fi trilogy. This one is called Across the Universe. This one is A Million Suns, and this one is the 3rd and final book called Shades of Earth. They're all first editions. Again, first editions are pretty rare of these. I'm selling them for $10 a piece, so the whole set will be $30, which is still less than you're going to find them on eBay. This is the Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, first edition, never been read, brand new, $10. Here's an old 1960 issue of Who's Who in Hollywood. It features the late great Debbie Reynolds on the cover. And then I have a whole stack of Nickelodeon magazines from the early 2000s, late 90s. I used to have an even bigger stack of these. Seriously, I had a stack that was 3 times this size, and I've been selling them on eBay over the past couple years. And I've been selling them for about $25 a piece. They are very rare and hard to find now. There's a lot of people who collect these. These are just the last few that I have not listed yet, and I thought, why not just sell them on here? So if anybody's interested, if you used to read these when you were a kid and you want some nostalgia, here you go. These are going to be $10 a piece. Here's the March 2000 issue featuring Britney Spears on the cover. This one is from March 2001, has NSYNC. This one is from October 2000. This one is from August 2004. This is a Halloween issue from October 2002. Harry Potter. This is from October of 2001. Another Harry Potter. This one is from June/July 2004. This one is from September 2002. It has Jimmy Neutron. Another NSYNC. This one is from June/July 2000. This one's a little rougher, so I'm going to say $5 for this one. This one has the Rugrats on the cover. It is from December/January 2004. Kids' Choice Awards 2003. It's from April of that year. Here is an issue with the Rugrats on the cover from Rugrats in Paris. This was from November 2000. Can't believe that movie came out all those years ago. It's crazy. May 2002 has Spider-Man. April 2001, featuring the 2001 Kids' Choice Awards. June/July 2002. And then lastly, I have Series of Unfortunate Events. This one is from December/January 2005. So $10 each for all of those except for the one that I pointed out. Now I'm going into the $15 books. Starting off, I have a YA horror paperback. This is from 1983. October 1983. This is from the Twilight Where Darkness Begins series. This one is called Spirits and Spells by Bruce Coville. This is a very rare book. All the books in this series are very rare. I'm selling this one for $15. It's in beautiful condition. So if you're a collector of these, here's one. A first edition hardcover of The Scorch Trials by James Dashner. These books go for quite a bit on eBay. So there's a first edition for you. Very nice condition. First editions of Lola and the Boy Next Door and Isla and the Happily Ever After. These really just aren't my style at all. I picked them up because I was basically forced to pick them up. And I just, they're not for me. So if any of you people out there like these books, these are first editions. I'm selling them for $15 a piece. Here is a big, heavy science fiction book called United Worlds Authority by Stephen L. Baker. Like I said, humongous. This book is signed by the author. It's a big leather-bound book. It's beautiful. I've had this for a long time, and I like sci-fi, but I'm not real into hard science fiction. Okay, the $20 books. Here is Time Magazine featuring the magic of Harry Potter on the cover. And this is from September 20th, 1999. And I also have the Time for Kids little tiny magazine featuring J.K. Rowling. I'm selling these just as a set. This alone sells for sometimes $50 on eBay. I'm only selling it for $20. It's in great shape. Here are a couple of horror paperbacks. I have Sins of the Flesh by Dawn Davis and Jay Davis, which has a really cool cover there. It's in beautiful condition, no creases, first edition. I'm selling this for $20, which is a lot less than it goes for on Amazon in this condition. Legend by Marie Lu. This is a first edition hardcover. Beautiful condition. I'm just not a big dystopian person. And I have another James Patterson book. This is one of his very early ones from 1986. It's in great shape. This one usually goes for about $30 to $40 online, so I'm selling it for $20 here. Alright, now I'm getting into the books that are a little highly priced. This one's going to be $30. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. First edition hardcover, very nice shape. It's kind of hard to find a first edition of her books, so there you go. Another one that's $30 is Seven Wonders: The Colossus Rises by Peter Larangis. It's the first book in the series. First edition, first printing, signed by the author. Here I have 2 copies of Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. One of these is mine, the other one is for my sister. Neither of us wanted our copies anymore. And I saw that the original first edition copies with the original covers are selling for about $50, $60 on eBay. So I have 2 copies, they're both brand new, unread. I'm selling these for $30 a piece. Like I said, they usually sell about $50 to $60 on eBay, so we're keeping the price pretty low on these. If one of these sells, I'm gonna give the money to my sister, but if the second copy sells, then that'll go to me, so yay. Okay, so there's 2 books left, and these are the really highly priced ones. I don't expect these to sell. If they don't, fine, I'm gonna list them on eBay. If they do, thank you. But these are for my Sarah J. Maas fans out there. Here's Throne of Glass. It's the first edition copy with the original cover. This is really rare, and it's going for so much money on eBay. Holy crap. I'm selling this one for $100. Here is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the series. It's a first edition, first printing, and it is signed by her. It's not personalized or anything, it's just her signature. Never been read. Honestly, I'm just not really interested in reading these books anymore. There's all of the books. This is a heck of a long video. Thank you all for sticking around. If any of you buy any of these books from me, thank you so much. It gives me peace knowing that these books are going to go to a good home. Somebody who will read and love them. It'll help me out. It'll give me some shelf space. It'll clear out some of these stacks. And it'll give me some extra money to buy books that I genuinely do want again. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, leave a comment down below telling me which books that you want. If you do want any, if you don't want any, it's fine. You can just watch this for entertainment. That's okay. I'm not going to judge you. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Until then, later, creeps.